Oh, hi, I'm glad that you're here. I'm Jamie and this is Eat Homemade. Now, today we're making a range of beautiful, nourishing snack foods that are so easy to put together and really help sustain us to the next meal. That's what snack foods are meant to do. Snack foods are actually, if you're buying them from the supermarket or other shops, can be full of additives. So one of the reasons that I first started making homemade snacks and homemade meals was really to avoid additives. When my children were little, and this was about 15 years ago, they started to suffer from infections, they had some behavioural issues, some cognitive issues, and I really wanted to formulate a diet that nourished them and healed the gut bacteria. So we've been able to add in small amounts of sugar and some dairy and things along the way. So now our diet isn't so restrictive, but I always make sure that everything that I'm feeding my family is nourishing. So today I'm so glad that you're going to join me to make some really easy snacks. These are going to take me probably about 45 minutes, an hour, and I'm going to fill up the jars and we're going to have some really nice different snacks for my children and my husband and visitors to enjoy. So let's get started. Today I'm making 5 nutrient-dense snacks like dark chocolate bark. I'm also going to make my egg everything muffins. As well as this, I'm making my peanut butter bites that everybody loves. I'm also making my favourite cheese and oregano crackers. If you haven't made your own crackers, you're going to see how easy they are to make from scratch. And also my snacking seeds. Once you start eating these, it's really hard to stop. I'm going to start with the dark chocolate bark. And dark chocolate is a great addition to a healthy diet. We're going to load up this chocolate bark today with walnuts, cranberries, pumpkin seeds and coconut, but you could choose whatever you want to add. And this is a no mess easy recipe. You simply melt this chocolate in the oven on a very low heat. It's a little bit like when you leave your chocolate in the car on a hot day and it melts. So this is the chocolate once it's been in the oven, and you can see I can touch the sides of the pan, so it's not really that hot. We don't want to overheat chocolate or it separates. And now that I've got it like this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a spoon and I'm just going to smear it over my baking paper so that it's much thinner and it will make it last a lot longer. As you can see, this is quite the therapeutic activity. So think about what you might want to add. What's your favourite nuts that you're going to add to this? Or sunflower seeds or something like that. I love to add pumpkin seeds because they are really good for cleansing tummies. If you like, you could also put a little bit of salt over this, like some nice sea salt. That would be amazing as well. So add all your bits, and once you've got them added, just use your spoon again to push them down so that when we break this up, all the bits are still going to be stuck to the chocolate. And now I'm going to put it in the fridge for about an hour until it's nice and cold. Now that it's nice and cold, an hour later, we can go ahead and we can break it up. Pop it into an airtight jar, and this stores really well in the fridge if it lasts long, because everyone loves to grab a piece of this after dinner. And just like that, it's done and we can move on to our next recipe. So now I'm going to make my egg everything muffins. These are great for putting, like I say, everything into. So leftovers out the fridge, or I've got some bacon that I've cooked, leftover from breakfast. I'm using 4 to 5 eggs. These are our own chicken eggs, so they're much brighter than normal supermarket eggs, and they're smaller, so that's why I use 5. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of self-raising flour, and don't worry if you're missing any of these ingredients because I'm going to put them all in the description for you. I'm also going to add some spinach, and spinach, if you've cooked that before, it will just cook down and you'll barely even notice it's in there. I'm going to add some cheese as well, but save a little bit for the tops. And don't forget to add your salt and pepper as well. You could add any kind of herbs. I've got a little bit of red onion that I'm going to add as well. That'll give it nice flavour. And I've run out of baking paper, so usually I would put baking paper in each of these before I put my egg mixture in. So I'm really hoping after oiling it that they're not going to stick and be a real pain to clean, but we'll just have to wait and see. I would advise putting some baking paper in. So this mixture makes 6 muffins. If you're wanting to fill the whole tray, of course, just double it and you'll be away. I'm then going to pop these into an oven and cook them for around 10 to 12 minutes. Let's see if they're going to come out nicely for me today. Doesn't really look like it, does it? They're going to stick a bit and leave a bit of a mess in that tray, which will need soaking, so that will keep me busy later. But these egg everything muffins are beautiful and soft, full of flavour, and like I said, you can use up all your leftovers in these. They're great for lunch boxes. Next, I'm going to make my cheese and oregano crackers. And is it oregano or oregano? I'm not too sure how to say it, but in New Zealand, a bit like Australia, we say oregano. So I'm going to make a little well in my flour, and I'm going to add my butter, and then I've got 100 ml of cold water that I'm adding in here. Like I said, if you're missing any of these ingredients, I'm going to put these into the description for you so you can just grab them from there. Crackers are so easy to make. Once you make them, you'll think, why have I been spending money on crackers from the shop that are full of additives? So I'm adding just normal tasty cheese, which is like a really flavoursome cheese, a nice hard cheese, but you could also use Parmesan, that would be really nice. And I've got a teaspoon of oregano, but you could change this out for your favourite herb. Even Italian herbs would be really nice. And once you've got your dough, you want to form it into a bit of a ball and then push it down. It's much easier if you use a piece of baking paper on top when you roll this out, because it will stop it from sticking to your rolling pin. A bit of a trick there. And this is the last of my baking paper, so that's why I couldn't use any more in my egg muffins. And you can see that it's not sticking, so the baking paper is a little bit of a trick. Roll it out basically as flat as you can, I would say 1 to 2 mils, so that they cook evenly right across. And then just get a nice sharp knife and divide them into squares or rectangles, something that's about the same shape. And then give them a prick on top with your fork so that they rise evenly. I'm going to pop this into my oven. Make sure that you stay in the kitchen watching these the whole time, just in case they start to burn on the edges. So the first batch that I've made today, I did pop out to the clothesline and was not watching them as closely as I could, but you will be much more vigilant than me, I know. And these just pop apart like this. So some cracker recipes you have to then cook again, but this one's just so nice and easy. Look how crunchy those are. And they're beautiful. So now to these, I'll just add a little bit more salt before I pop them away. And you can see that they're so crispy. They're going to be perfect with some cheese and some hummus. So now they're all done, I'm going to move on to my snacking seeds. These are so delicious, these snacking seeds. You can put these on salads, you can sprinkle them on soups before you serve, or once you've made them, you'll find that you just kind of stand there in the kitchen and just keep snacking on them. I use a good quality soy sauce that doesn't have any additives in it. So that does cost a little bit more. Cheap soy sauce is usually full of additives, so just be careful about that. You want to brown your seeds and then add 1 to 2 tablespoons of your tamari or your soy sauce. And once they're nice and cooled, you can pop them into an airtight jar, or we're going to go ahead and we're going to eat these with some nice hummus and even in a salad. The next recipe that I'm moving on to are my easy peanut butter bites. These are basically a 4-ingredient recipe, and then the 5th ingredient, if you want to add, could be oats or could be nuts. Today I'm adding some oats, but it's basically egg, you've got a little bit of sugar, some baking powder, and of course your good quality peanut butter. You want to form these into balls on your baking tray and then just push them down. If your fork gets a little bit sticky, I always just put it in a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick. Push those down and then pop them into an oven for around 8 to 10 minutes until they're beautiful and golden, and you'll be able to smell when they're ready. These smell so amazing. They've got that salty peanut butter smell, but they've also got that beautiful sweetness as well. These are going to start disappearing off the kitchen bench very soon, I know it. They're lovely and soft and sweet on the inside. And that's all our beautiful snacks done. Oh, you've caught me eating some of this beautiful chocolate bark. I have had so much fun doing all these beautiful recipes and showing you how easy it is. I think the chocolate bark is probably my favourite, but that's because I'm a bit partial to some dark chocolate. Let me know, what was your favourite recipe? What one of these snack ideas do you think you'll go away and use? I love it when you comment, so please do, and I'm really looking forward to responding.